Alright, so this will be episode 3. We're starting on how to customize an Allis Chalmers 8070 casting, 8000 series casting. Obviously, hopefully, you're going to start with a complete tractor. If it doesn't have the wheels, that's acceptable, but if it's missing other parts, you're going to have an issue. We got one here that's missing the seat, but that's pretty easy to fix. Use a pair of nippers. Take the rear axle off. That's the easiest way for me. After your tire removal, if you so choose, you can take the fronts off, but it's not really in the way yet. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take out the Dremel, and we're going to grind off the rivets that hold the cab on. Alright, this must have been fixed. That one's got screws in the side of it. I get some of these off eBay and lots, because it's a cheap way to do it. Or I'll take them in trade. So we'll have to do a little work on that one, because that looks a little tacky. But next thing we're going to do is take the Dremel tool and take the rivets off, take the cab off, take it apart, my favorite part. Once you get your rivets ground down, remove the cab, and if you're planning on putting cab glass in it, I recommend grinding down the posts for the rivets. If you're like me, this will make your wife very happy, because they're a pain to go around. So next thing we're going to do is grind them down with the Dremel tool. When we put it back on, we're just going to put a little spotted glue on it to hold it on anyway. We really don't need those. We'll leave the front T to pop into the front of the hood. Makes it very nice. So, grinding down. Alright, once you grind your cab down, make it easy for your wife. Dude, go ahead. It's fine. You're so weird. Make it easier for your wife to paint or yourself to put cab glass in. Either way. Get that done on both of those. That's handy. You'll thank yourself later. If you want to, you can remove the orange half from the black half. I can't remember why the hell we did that. Maybe it's for the 8095 casting we do. But just take your grinder, cut off the ribbon on one side, pop it out. It's not real serious. Well, I thought it wasn't serious. I think one of these we're going to do a two-wheel drive on, and that gets a little more serious. We're going to need to remove the old axle and the clamp that holds it on. The new one will go into the weights, and you'll have to custom build a rear clamp for it to make it fit right, and you're going to need an axle from another donor tractor. We use a lot of the JI Case 1570s. The axle is very easy to customize, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's easy to tear it down to smaller sizes, and it fits in a lot of the older castings. This one happens to have diamond treads. So yeah, I guess the next thing we're going to do is take that axle off and clean it up a little bit. So we took the screws out, we took the top off, we took the clamp that holds the old axle on, we shined it down. Next thing we're going to do, this is to make a two-wheel drive 8000 series. Next thing we're going to do here is drill a hole in the dead center of the casting at the front edge of the weights. Something that'll support about probably about a 1/8 inch hole total, but you're going to want to start small and go bigger. Start big, and it might go one way or the other depending on how soft the metal is there. So that's our next step in this little thing. I think we're going to do another podcast this week on this model where Holly's going to show you how to put how she puts cab glass in. This is just how we do things. You know, if you take this too seriously, you might get upset, or if we're doing it wrong in anyone's given eye on how to do it. So, I mean, this is just how we do it. It works for us at the time, and we find better ways all the time as we move along.
That's so true.
Yeah. So, we're gonna drill out for the new axle. That's our next. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do on these, we drilled a hole in the front of the two-wheel drive, don't know if you can see it. It's in there. Trust me. We're going to add a small piece of styrene. It's a little over a 1/16 wide, and we're going to add it in next to the seat. Not that you can see that, but we're going to put it in right about here. We got to cut it to fit first to represent the side console in the 8000 series. Something we can put a couple of levers in, and one more thing for my wife to paint up. She loves that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our next. What we're trying to make here is the little side console in the Allis Chalmers 8000 series. We got a little piece of styrene cut. What we're going to do is try to make that back angle. Again, this is cut to fit, and it's not really perfectly to scale. Oh, there goes that. So, get your piece of styrene cut that you need. Make sure it fits into your tractor the way you want it, and then next thing is measure a tiny little chunk out of it and cut this silly thing. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but we have a bird. If you ever think about getting a bird, choke yourself with something sharp and pointy, and then just don't do it. They're loud and annoying. Like kids. So, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a tiny little piece of styrene that we're going to put in there for a side console. We're going to drill a couple of tiny little holes in it after we glue it in, and that'll represent, you know, side console. Yeah. Alright, so we put in our side console and we drilled, I think, 5 little 132 holes where we're going to put levers for gear selectors and hydraulics and PTO, whatnot. The 2 of them have got it. I gotta get a seat for that too. But this is a good thing to get done before it goes to paint. This is what it's going to look like in the end, although I gotta get Holly to add a little bit more black to this. Little levers there. Hopefully you'll paint the interior tan and then the seat base black. That's the idea for it. That's what we're hoping to get accomplished. Alright, once we apply our floral wire into the 1/32 holes that we've drilled, we're pretty much ready to pass this along to the painter. If you happen to be the painter, you're going to have to wait for next week's installment to figure out what to do next, 'cause I don't do anything with paint. We all have our specialties, and that's just not mine. We can proceed without getting the axle installed, because it's a black base. It's simple to fix after the fact. It doesn't really need to be sprayed. So this is where we're at right now, and we're going to pass it along to Holly. She's going to hopefully do a episode later this week on how to make that look pretty. So until next time, there you go.